the hostage dribble became very popular when Trey Burke was at Michigan, and he was National Player of the Year, and all he did was hold people on his back. Those guys all were clearly taught by Beeline how to hostage. It was clearly something that was very emphasized in practice. But Trey Burke being both the combination of that, he got the most pick and rolls, and he was just the best at it, probably some sort of connection there, was he really, put the hostage in the light, and he was really great at it. Now, does he do it as much in the NBA? It's still in his game, but it's just, it's different. In college, he was the master at that, the master, and he would get Mitch McGarry and Lil Horford, Al Horford's brother. Forget his name.
Lil Horford.
He would get him. He ain't so little, but he would get him them open shots all the time. But yeah, so I was talking real long, didn't it?
I just want to say one last thing to put the hostage conversation to rest, is that like just another thing I was kind of noticing watching that same crew of high school guys and how they operated was that there's really not a lot of opportunities to hostage in high school because there's not that big amount of spacing that exists at the other levels. So if you hostage somebody at the elbow, the other guy that's guarding the opposite wing or slot, they can just sit at the elbow, and then in 2 steps, they're contesting the guy that's at the three-point line. Whereas in the NBA, that guy can't do that. He can't be in the paint because you're just leaving a guy wide open. So that is kind of why I just don't think, again, if you want to go the angle of, yeah, I'm working on a hostage because that's what I'm going to see a lot of in college next year and I want to be prepared for that, that's one thing. But if you're in 7th through 10th grade and you haven't
doing 2-on-0 pick and rolls,
right, like, and you haven't earned a scholarship yet, like you still have to prove yourself at your current level, you have to play well right now. I don't think constantly working on a hostage is going to do that for you. I think hostaging is overtaught. Again, the situations you're going to see a hostage are really only exclusive to like the highest level of basketball, so unless you're working with someone like that.
What is the lowest level of the highest level of basketball?
Division III basketball.
So college basketball?
Yeah. Like unless it's someone who's 18 years old or older in a college or professional environment, there's no.
So these elite high school schools, top 25 high schools.
All right. So and again, I said this in another pod and I still have to finish this video. I made a thing of I want to put out a YouTube video on why I think hostaging is overtaught. So I looked up like all the best point guards in the 2020 class and like all their pick and roll possessions in their last season of AAU. And there's literally like 2 hostages. To further that point, there was only 2 situations I saw where there was even an ability to hostage somebody because everything is a switch or a double.
There's a lot of switching and aggressive doubling in AAU basketball games.
Yeah. So like when RJ Davis or Sharif Cooper comes off a ball screen and they're just immediately switching, how am I going to tell that kid, yo, you should add the hostage to your game? Because at your current highest level, which is the EYBL, you're never getting the opportunity to do that. So why would you waste your spring reps on working towards that?
Well, just more big men in like college. Especially those levels that they're going to, there's more big men that can do different things. So Isaiah Mobley, I just use them because they're 2 freak athletes, right? They can literally play any single pick and roll coverage you want them to play. But you're only going against the Mobleys when you play Compton Magic. You know what I mean? So like, although these teams, it's just so much really good guard and wing play. There's a lot of good bigs, don't get me wrong, but they're sprinkled so thinly because it's just one age group. But in college, in theory, you have 4 to 5 age groups playing together. So you have a plethora of big men. So you might not see it in your age group or at the skill level that you're playing at, high school, depending. But I think it is, you know, something that should be applied potentially in college. So I think you should expose those. Now, listen, Sharif Cooper, RJ Davis, they're special, right? But I don't think a hostage dribble would hurt them learning, even though they might not ever have to use it one time in their high school career. I don't think it hurts to learn that. You know, when a situation comes and the speed of the game is just way quicker and spacing is just smaller, and they're playing against, you know, a senior, a 6'9", 6'10" senior that has been hedging a ball screen or been playing drop coverage for 4 years. But I'm going to say that it is undertaught. It is undertaught. I don't feel like I see it enough in general. And I feel like when people have an advantage on the pick and roll, that they kind of time themselves out by not holding their advantage. And the hostage is like an easy way to slow down your decision making. So I don't see it enough in all levels of basketball, and even in college basketball necessarily, or executed enough, I should say.
And I think that if they were taught properly and taught more, they're more useful in you're going to see a situation where you can use a shot hezzy more often than you're going to see a situation where you use a hostage. So I think that's why a hostage is overtaught, because you're going to run into a situation where you can use a hostage less